Hello and welcome to the Sales Exchange podcast, marketing talk for CEOs. Now, marketing can be a serious challenge for most businesses, and we're here to shed some light on new business strategies and tactics to help steer your team to success. And I'm your host and founder of Sales Exchange, Nigel Main. The subject today really is about why should a CEO, business owner, be the right person to do the marketing. I mean, my view is that if you've spent all your time and effort coming up with the idea for a product, etc., and you go out there and sell it, why should you be the person that has to go and market it? I mean, that does not make sense to me, because what I was saying earlier was that the whole thing about marketing is you got to learn it. You got to know.
Yep.
Everything from the ground up. You know, from the basics to the complex side of things. But it blows me away that you've got this problem that marketing people have to go cap in hand to the business owners to say, can I have money to go and do something? And a business owner says no. And the reason he says no is because he doesn't understand what he's actually being asked to do. And why should he? But because the marketing person isn't a business leader, isn't the owner of the business, invariably isn't, and probably has never really had the opportunity to play with money and play with ideas, he's just not in a position to argue his case properly. It's all a blag. I mean, I see it so many times, and I think that what we want to do, and what we do as a business is share the information. I mean, that's the main thing about this. Is like it's just sharing the information with people to say, well, if you are going to do it, if you are going to do the marketing, then you've got to know what you're doing. And and where are you going to find that information out? When it does change. You know, the activities do change, but not massively. You know, you've got websites, and you've got direct mail of different descriptions, email or direct, and they have to go to a landing page. And when they get to a landing page, there's got to be a reason behind it and something in it for them. And then you engage in this dance, which is they've given you permission to market to them. Then what? And I think the business owner wants it to happen quickly, and the marketer wants there to be a developing relationship that is based upon a funnel, and you're trying to make sure that you can traverse those suspects to prospects to leads to dems to customers through that funnel.
But I think this is what the problem is. I think that business owners, business leaders want a quick answer. They want a quick result. And I don't think, to a certain extent in this age of internet and so much choice out there, and actually so much information, they actually think that all that information gets out there just by magic somehow. Yeah. And they actually want a quick fix. So they're going down a route of saying, well, actually, we want to do the pay-per-click because that gets us out there. That gets us, people know who we are. People are clicking on us and they're seeing us because they're going down that route. But I think there's no appreciation, or to a certain extent, there's no appreciation of the relationship building. I think all of their own ways of purchasing product, whether it's an iPhone or whether it's a new car, an element of research goes into it. You don't just click on an ad, you go, oh, I'm looking for a car. Oh, look, I'll click on this advert for a Range Rover, and you go and buy a Range Rover. You actually do some research. You go, actually, is this the car that I want? And I think people have choices, and they want to be nurtured in a relationship. They actually want to have they want to feel that the people that they're, the companies that they're reaching out to, or that they're interested in, are actually interested in them back. And I think this is where you don't build a relationship with a pay-per-click.
No.
You just get, and I also think there's a bit of vanity goes in with that. Look, we've had thousands of clicks on this.
Yeah, and they're all from, you work in the UK and they're all from China.
Yeah, and it's like, well, where are they going? What is the point of these, of this pay-per-click? You can spend thousands on it and actually have no measurable business from it.
The thing is, I mean, with paper, I mean, I did it years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, doing pay-per-click, blindly doing it, paying thousands every month. And then I read a book. The book
that was dangerous.
And the book said, so how many adverts have you got? It's like, well, 3. And it's like, you should have been like 33 or 53, one for each type of person, and the different personas relating to the people. Once they click, what's the post-click? Then I read another book. And the whole post-click marketing. So you click on anything, whether it's an email link or a pay-per-click link, and it's got to go to a landing page. And then the landing page delivers something, and then there's a reason to market, and then you get permission to market to them. And it goes on, and there has to be a process to that. And I gradually got to the point of thinking, oh man, I've so missed the point on this, that it's about a gradual approach to building a relationship. And I mean, when I was out selling direct, you starting from knocking on doors in the rain and snow. You knock on the door, you get the comp slip, you go back, you make the phone call, 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 and then you might get an appointment. Then you go and see them, and they just want to have a chat. You think, all this for a chat? But it's numbers game, and we can know it's a numbers game. And then the more people you have a chat with, the more people become genuine prospects to do demonstrations, to actually go out and do a quote and close them. But the same thing is relevant to our prospecting when it comes to marketing. And it's, you have to build up these relationships, and people are not interested in it. They want managing directors. I know, because I'm one of them. Managing directors want a quick fix. They go, right, this is how I got to where I am now. I didn't get where I am now by sitting around waiting for some smarmy marketer to do that. I went out there and knocked on doors. It's like, yeah, you can't do that now. No one's interested. But
the same principle applies, though, because, now you've got the internet, and now the roles, to a certain extent, have now been reversed, especially with GDPR. You've got a bit of a role reversal now, because buyers, and we know, because we all do it ourselves, and why we forget that we're just as much a buyer as we are a seller, if you like, in this respect. We all go out there and we do our research, and we don't necessarily buy the first thing that we click on. We find out, but it's the same kind of principle that, as a marketer, as a business, when you were out there knocking on doors or making 100 phone calls a day, you were doing exactly the same thing, where you were reaching out to people and trying to build a relationship with them. You were trying to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And now consumers are doing it the other way around. They're doing their research, and they might click on a website and they'll click away if it's rubbish.
Yeah.
In the same way that, if you have somebody doing telesales and their technique is absolutely dire, you won't take their call again, because you're not interested in what they've got to say, not because the product's no good, but just because their presentation of it isn't very good. And I think, we're still in that situation. But I think buyers have become more discerning and maybe more sophisticated, and they want to be nurtured. They actually want to be taken on a journey of discovery through your product.
And I think that we all know what good looks like. We know what bad looks like. I mean, the thing about websites is like 500 milliseconds before someone clicks away from a website. someone looks at something, looks at an advert, looks at a video, you know if it's been filmed on an iPhone or, okay, iPhone's pretty good, but, you know what I mean? If no effort has gone into post-production to show the kind of effort, it's like, well, let's just knock it out. And so there's, on the one hand, we are discerning buyers. I think I don't know whether it's split down the middle, but, half the population have got iPhones and the other half have got Android. And then you can look at it again and see how many have got the later iPhones and who've got the Honors, the Galaxies, the this, that, and the other, the state of the art, those state of the art phones. So, as individuals, we know what good looks like, and when it comes to people in business, they kind of have a mind meld, like it goes wrong, and they think, well, we can get away with this. Why do you think? Why do they think they can get away with it? And that's why we look at this whole thing about video. What can you get away with video? We can get away with filming something on a Nokia iPhone. You do what you like.
Yeah.
But if you're selling a premium product and you've got a crappy looking video, that's what they'll think of your product. Simple as that. And what I don't think, it's a bit of a bum deal really for marketers, because they need the money, they need the financing to make this stuff happen. But managing directors are not going to play. They're not going to treat their marketing team as a venture capital exercise. I will throw money at this, but you can't guarantee me what's going to happen. It's a difficult. I really think it's a difficult call, because they go, the board of directors, and say for example you don't have a marketing person on the board of directors. The board of directors determine the budget for marketing. And I'm not knocking. I am knocking it, because what do they know? Is your website any good? Have you got video? Have you got this, that, and the other? How are you measuring everything that you're doing?
But do you not think, though, to a certain extent, you've got business owners, whether it's a CEO or a managing director, and they'll say things like, well, I know my product. I know I know this industry, whether it's the telecoms industry, whether it's software or whatever, I know this industry. And by knowing the industry, they therefore think they know how to market to that industry, because they've been in the industry a long time. But I actually don't think that's right. I think, that yes, they know their product, but that doesn't mean you know how to present that product in the best way. You might know intimately how the product works. If it's a piece of software, you might have been involved in the development of that software, so you know intimately how it works. But that doesn't mean that you're the best qualified to actually market that product. Because marketing isn't about what you know, it's about what you need to educate your customer on, because I think, or your potential customer. Because
the thing is with that, you've got the what's in it for me. That cuts through everything constantly. What's in it for me? Nobody gives a monkeys about software, telecoms, kits, anything. Nobody cares about it at all, unless you can demonstrate what it can do for them. And if you can demonstrate what it can do for them, now we're talking. Now put that as present that as a business case, instead of effectively bitch slapping a customer and say, do as you're told, buy it. And you go, well, I'll buy it from someone else, thanks very much. And I think that's the thing is, you've got the early adopters, then you've got the early adapters. We want early adopters that are going to take on our new products, but you've got people that have to adapt. And are they going to? Do they have to adapt? You've got people that want to collaborate and work nicely with people, and you've got other individuals that want to dominate and be leaders and keep other people, oppress and keep other people down in their area of business. And I think that the whole thing about how to communicate a message has got to be so authentic and genuine, and the only way you can do that is by constantly wanting to help people. But that goes against the grain when you're trying to run a business and sell products, when everybody's got quotas and targets to achieve and fulfill. But how does a business differentiate itself from another, if not by attempting to help them?
Yeah, and but I also think, how does a company differentiate itself from another business? You know, why would you buy a McDonald's over a Burger King, or over the Gourmet Burger Company? Why would you? There's different products for different markets. But I also think, to a certain extent, it's like, when I'm buying your product, I'm buying something of you. I'm buying something of you as the seller of that product.
Yeah.
Reading the Gallo book, The Storyteller's Secrets, you understand that in actual fact, it's the story behind the product. It's the story behind the person that's there, actually, that can make or break the sale of a product.
Yeah.
Because if you can tell a good story, and you can engage your potential customers in, why this make them the hero. Why is it? What's it going to do for them? What's this product going to do for them? How is it going to improve their business? What they're going to get out of it? Whether it, we buy an iPhone because there's prestige associated with the iPhone, not because you've got, thousands and thousands of different apps. It started off as being a status symbol. So I don't think, it's what, you're absolutely right, what's in it for me? And if you're just going to throw data at people, data is not going to encourage somebody to buy. You might get maybe, 1 in 50 people that's really interested in the statistics. But the reality of it is, most people buy a product because it brings something, it gives them something, it gives them status, or it resolves a problem in their business.
Yeah.
And I think as business owners, I think there has to be an understanding that actually what differentiates you from your competition may well be your story of why you are where you are, or it might just be that you offer something just completely different, an exceptional customer service that you've got testimonials on, and that, you tell those stories, you encourage people to buy. You don't encourage them to buy. It's
like that Seth Godin book about tribes. It's about people wanting to belong. And if you can demonstrate how you can belong because of the stories that support your business, and if you're able to articulate those stories in the form of podcasts, videos, books, blogs, pictures, newsletters, things that actually present who you are, and you take a pause from trying to every time you open your mouth you're trying to sell something, instead of actually just tell your story. Just say, this is how we got here. God, did we suffer trying to get this, and we got this done, and we got that done, and different people have different stories in different businesses, and getting their individual stories out there. I mean, I read a book ages ago about this guy saying that what you've got to do is you've got to become an author. You've got to write your own book, and writing your own book means that you can give your book to your customers. So even if you were employed, you can still give your book away, and therefore create a direct relationship with the people that you're selling to. So if someone turns around and fires you, you've still got your connections with all those people for a legitimate reason. It's like, wait a second, all the status, all the issues about let's not allow our staff to take their data with them and take their customers with them. No, he bought my book. He's my customer. So it comes back down to storytelling, and what story have you got, and what story are you telling people? And if you haven't got something authentic, then you're out there just flogging stuff. If you can't demonstrate your authenticity as a company, or your staff haven't got anything, and you're regurgitating the same old, it's effort, and it can indicate a decline for any business if they're not looking to say, wait a second, when it comes to stories and what we have to do as a business, who's the best person to come up with the stories? Well, who are the entrepreneurs in your business? They're the people that are going to go, right, okay, we'll try this, we'll try that, we'll try this, we'll try that. Keep it going. Keep the stories coming out. Get staff to write their own stories. Think about it. Can it be filmed? Can it be photographed? What can be done? Business owners constantly want to keep out the message of sell this product. It's like, nobody's interested in your product. They don't give monkeys about it. But what they are interested in is other people's stories. That's why, I mean, I'm floored by how many businesses don't get it, but it's only because they don't get it because the business owners are not operating in the marketing space.
No.
They're operating in a business owner's space.
Yeah.
They associate with business owners. When you're doing your marketing, you are pitching to technology buyers. You're pitching to executive assistants who are the gatekeepers to the technology buyers. You're trying to get through them, whereas the directors don't give a monkeys. They're talking to their mates on the golf course or whatever they do, however they live their lives, talking to other co-directors.
And probably sharing stories and probably not talking about, look how fantastic our product is.
Yeah.
They're
talking about life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think...
And that's the mismatch. And this is why
sure.
You've got these organisations that give it the big one when it comes to marketing. Oh, look at us, we've got all this, that. But nobody's actually doing anything when it comes to personas and understanding about personas. What story would Mabel like to hear? And Mabel's a 55-year-old, 60-year-old woman that's been working for the company for this long, but she's the gatekeeper. How many Mabels are you dealing with? How many Steves or Micks are you dealing with? Who's 45 and has been through the ringer a bit, and he's been out there, in the snow, in the rain, and everything, selling. How many of those people are you speaking to? And marketing companies, marketing departments, and lots of companies, too busy to segment their audiences.
But I also think
it's too much work.
Yeah, I also think there's an element of, like we said earlier, about wanting a quick answer, wanting a quick result, and you are going to get some quick wins, but consistency. You've got to have consistency. You've got to have consistency in your marketing. You've got to have consistency in your message. And persevere, because I do think there's a danger, and I've seen this before, where companies, and even reasonable sized companies, go, oh, we'll do this, and they go off and they start marketing in a certain way, and then when they don't see it happening, they change the strategy after 3 months, say, oh, we'll do that, and it's like, hang on a second, you've just started building a relationship over here, and now you've stopped all that, and now you're going to do something completely different, and it's like. But
I think that
consistency is the key.
And one of the big problems is that when one reads, one finds out information, and if it takes 7 to 10 direct touches or connections with someone for them to start to recognise you, not buy from you, just recognise you. And you think, okay, that's 10. Call it 10, it's easier. So you've got 10 connections. You go, right, okay, got to send out 10 emails. No. Because only 1 in 3 get through. Because the other 2, people don't, they click away, delete it, don't wear out, whatever, any reason that you can think of.
Yeah.
So that means you've got to have 30 things that you're going to do.
Yeah.
And you go, well, how quickly are you going to send them out? Well, you're not going to do it every day, are you? And so, once a week, 30 weeks.
Yes, nearly.
Yeah. So
it's like,
that's like 7 months.
7 months, yeah.
So the thing, and people go, oh, I didn't realise that. And that's just the direct connections, and the direct connections can be on Facebook, LinkedIn, not Twitter, but Facebook, LinkedIn, email.
But I think, marketing just generally, marketing is about, you have to be in it for the long term. You have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to stick with this program and I'm going to do this program over a given period of time, however long that is, but you have to stick with it. When I was selling and doing phone calls, it was like, trying to make 100 phone calls a day. And then, the numbers stack up, you get like 1 in 10 and then 1 in whatever it is, 1 in 100, you get an appointment. But the thing is that when I was selling and I was also doing like project management and so on, you stop making 100 calls a day and then you stop reaching the numbers, because you can't maintain that consistency. And I think the same analogy is true, in your marketing. If you don't stay focused on a plan and on a strategy, and you keep moving backwards and forwards, you're going to miss opportunities, because, I'd make 100 phone calls a day and then I wouldn't do it for a couple of weeks because I was out of the office. And then you'd lose your momentum, and then you'd call up the person that you were talking to a month ago and find that they've either forgotten who you are or they bought from somewhere else, because you haven't been able to maintain the consistency for one reason or another. But I think marketing, we've got the opportunity now with marketing to be far more consistent and far more sophisticated about what we do, about how we reach out to people. It's not just a phone call anymore. It's a video, it's a podcast, it's a blog, it might be a tweet, it might be, it could be a phone call. But the thing is, it could be a direct mail. But the thing is, it's about sticking with the strategy.
Yeah.
And I think when you don't stick with the strategy, and I think too many businesses do this, they go, this isn't working. It's like, well, how long have you given it? Well, we've given it 2 weeks. It's like, really? People don't buy that quickly.
It's like the old mail shots, isn't it? We're sending out, I work with companies, this is way back when, sending out mail shots. So they send out all these mail shots promising the earth, and that was it. And they get loads back, and you ring them up to try and make an appointment. They go, okay, we go and see, and it'll fall out of bed because the what was being said was absolute nonsense. But the other one was they'll send out a mail shot and wait a week and go, how's it gone? Well, we didn't get very many back. We only got 1%, 0.5%. Oh, we'll do it again. So you do it again. What's the response like? About the same, really. Oh. We'll do it one more time and see what happens. If we don't get there, we'll have to change what we're doing. And they try it again, same response, no good, and they'll stop it. So they get 2 to 3, and have 2 to 3 efforts. And we're saying, we're only 10% of the way through yet.
Yeah.
It's mad. But, that's the thing. This is a podcast about marketing. It's not about flogging stuff. But with 30 years experience, you go, you can't be doing what you were doing 30 years ago.
No, absolutely not. Or you can't even be doing something that looks like you were doing 30 years ago.
Yeah,
Buyers they are more sophisticated. They have more choice. There is more noise. But that doesn't mean that you, as a business owner, and your marketing teams can't cut through that noise by being creative. And I was just thinking before, about maybe it's because there's a bit of a lack of ideas going on. We don't see a lot of marketing companies actually promoting video, but ongoing video. Producing videos on a regular basis.
A corporate video, and
which is no good to any. It sits on your website. You might promote it. You might send it out on a, put it up on LinkedIn and hope for the best.
Look, aren't we clever?
Yeah.
That's all it says. It doesn't actually help. It doesn't communicate a message and help people achieve something or attain something. Yeah. It just says me.
But I think what we need to be doing is we need to be saying, look, this is, if you give it some thought and you brainstorm ideas within your business, not just to do with the marketing team, but engage everybody in the process, because everybody has a touch point with your customer. Whether it's the receptionist to the managing director, you all have a touch point with the customer one way or the other. Brainstorm some ideas. What can we put out on video? What can we talk about? Can we talk about us, the individual stories in the company.
I mean, even doing this, even doing interviews.
Yeah.
Between, whether you've got a salesperson and a product development person, or whatever, what's happening out there in the market, and doing just anything that shows that you want to help other people.
Yeah.
That you have to show that you care.
Yeah.
We all know it's a bottom line. We all know it's about the bottom line.
Yeah.
But if your purpose is to fleece people or to grab an amount of money from people and to hell with anything else, then you've lost.
Yeah.
If it's we want to have a great life and have a great time doing this, and our staff have a great time doing their job, we want our customers to love us. Then there's got to be a fundamental shift in a lot of companies to go, well, if you plan on being around for the next few years, you've got to plan accordingly.
Yeah, and I think take the focus away from yourselves and put the focus on your customers and your prospects, because at the end of the day, without being, silly about it, the only reason we exist is for customers. We don't exist for the good of our health.
No,
everybody in business exists for the, we're there because of the customer. And if you lose sight of the customer, if you lose sight of the prospect, and you think it's all about you and what you're doing, then your business will never ever thrive the way it deserves to. And you won't have buy-in from staff, you won't have engagement from staff, because they won't understand what the purpose is of the business. It's like, well, why are we here?
Yeah.
Well, we're just here to line the pockets of the CEO, or it's like, no, actually, that's not why we're here. People want to have a purpose. People want to think that they're part of a purpose.
Yeah. And the thing is, most products, if they're sold accurately, most B2B technology products, hardware, software, exist to support. Excuse me. They exist to support the development of the business that they're going to sell it to.
Yeah, or fix a problem.
And there is always a bottom line to it.
Mm-hmm.
So
always a return on investment.
What's the ROI of this piece of kit? End of story. What's it going to do for me?
Yeah.
And therefore, it doesn't matter what it is. Whether it's a telephone system or a bit of software, it must provide a function that is going to be viewed and be visible. On the bottom line. It has to be, otherwise you're not going to buy it.
Yeah. It's
not about cheaper or anything like that. It's you need this stuff, and there's got to be a reason to do something. And the only way of communicating that information is through stories and storytelling, and showing that you actually care about the customer. And if you demonstrate you don't care about the customer, well, they'll vote with their feet.
Yeah, of course they will. Yeah, and I also think they'll vote with their feet before you even get a chance to get your foot in the door. Because if you don't show that you've got any aptitude for reaching out to them and for actually wanting to develop a relationship. I mean, you've often said, about you don't get a kiss on the first date necessarily. And I think that's what a lot of companies are looking for.
I didn't with you, did I?
What, a kiss on the first date? No, you did.
I did. Okay.
You did, yeah.
I forgot. That was it was really late, wasn't it?
It was really late, yeah. But the point is, if you're looking for that kiss on the first date, if that's what you want and you think you've arrived if you've got it, then you don't understand bias psychology, and you forget that you walk into a room with a group of people that you want them to buy from you. You forget that you're also a consumer, that you also buy product, and you forget how you buy product. You want to just sell them your product as opposed to wanting them to buy your product and actually want to engage with you. And I think if we forget that, if we don't want to nurture our prospects and get in a relationship with them and say, look, we want to, we do want your business. We'd like you to do business with us, but in the meantime, while we're going to show you and we're going to teach you things. You can learn here. You can learn. In our case, you can learn about video. You can learn a bit about marketing. You can learn a bit about social marketing, and if you're willing to do that and give something of yourself for free, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Then people will be more willing to buy from you.
You provide an education and information that helps people move forward. that you're providing that kind of forward motion that keeps pushing their business forward. I think you've done your job. And if they buy from you, well, great.
But I think ultimately, because I think what we also forget is that, more so now than ever before, people change jobs people don't stay with companies for really long periods of time. Those companies are rare now, and so turnover of staff can be quite high. So you may have nurtured them in this company, but if you nurture them but they're not in a position to buy when they're in company A, but when they go to company B, they'll remember you. Yeah. And people tend to do the same jobs. They don't tend to have massive career changes. So say, for example, you're involved in, I don't know, digital transformation, and you've nurtured this customer over here with company A, but actually the decision was taken out of their hands, or the budget wasn't there, or whatever. But if you've nurtured that relationship, they'll remember you when they go to company B, and they'll go, actually, this company were really good. They had loads of useful information that I was able to use and use in the project. We just couldn't use it at the time because we didn't have the budget to do it. Yeah. And he goes and works at company B, and he immediately signs up because he knows that what he's going to get is really useful information, that company's really interested in them as a prospect, and that they actually, whether we do business with them or not, they're still interested in me as an individual. It's very much a one-to-one relationship. But if all you're blasting out there is saying, well, we expect everybody that comes across our path is in financial services. No, that's not the case. Yeah. I want you to speak to me. If you think I'm in financial services when actually I sell, a fertilizer for to the farming industry. Yeah. It's like we're worlds apart. But I think, nurturing relationships, I think we have to understand that people do move around, different jobs, but doing a similar kind of role. And if we nurture them and we look after them and we show that we're interested in them, keep in touch with them on a regular basis, at some point they will buy from you, because you've nurtured that relationship, and they feel that they're part of a community. They feel that a community is not a group of random people that just happen to have downloaded a piece of software. That's not a community. No. It really isn't a community. Yeah. A community is people that can share ideas and feel that they can give feedback and say, actually, I got this piece of information from you. It was really useful. I didn't use it, but I passed it on to somebody else. Yeah. You want your information to go far and wide. And if it's good quality content, if it's interesting video, if it's interesting blog or whatever, we as marketers have to understand that, what we produce is not just for the benefit of the person that we're producing it for, but it can go far and wide. Yeah, and if we look at it in those sort of terms, and if we're providing stuff, if we're producing this really interesting content, people will want to share it. And to be honest, that's got to be the way forward, because the internet is out there. We can share stuff. We share it on LinkedIn. You can share it on Twitter. Share it on Facebook. You can share it everywhere. And if it's good, people will share it.
The products that are out there are not unique.
No.
I mean, the iPhone's not unique.
No.
There's loads of phones.
Yep.
So anything and everything that exists, none of it's unique. I'm sure there must be one or two things, but I can't think off the top of my head. They're not unique. So they can buy from your competition, drop of a hat. Mm. So what differentiates?
Yeah.
And because people are sophisticated, they can buy anywhere, from anywhere, and any country, and have it shipped. I mean, this is really serious now.
Yeah.
People buy people. People buy your story. They want your story.
Yeah.
They want a reason to be connected with you.
Yeah.
And if you are producing information and content and all the things that we talked about, then they will feel an affinity towards you and your staff and the people that you engage with, in whichever way, shape or form. And that's that's the basis of the whole thing to do with 334 and launch. It's not about us flogging it. It's about saying, actually, this is the way to do it. Mm. Here's a blueprint.
Yeah.
Here it is. The blueprint's there. It's on our website. Download it. Yeah. If you want to do it, do it. If you don't want to do it, we'll do it. There's no two ways about it. But it is about approaching this sensibly.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, and really, I think what the takeaway has got to be, to a certain extent, is that, you know, start thinking as a CEO, you know, or as a managing director, you know, start thinking, you know, about what's my story, what can I, you know, how can I create a community of people that are interested in the things that I've got to say, you know, and I've got to show interest in them, and they'll show interest in me.
And one of the other things as well is that not everybody wants to be in front of a camera.
No.
And if that's the case, if you don't want to be in front, that's fine.
Yeah.
But get someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Get someone else to be the front man or front people.
Yeah.
Who, you know,
even get actors in. Or
get anybody. It doesn't matter, does it? You know, but get people that you're going to go, right, we're going to commit to this for 12 months at least.
Yeah.
And put a double act forward that are going to go and make something of your company. You don't have to do it.
No.
But it is about being creative and enthusiastic about it. And if you pay someone to be enthusiastic.
Yeah. And
if they're not enthusiastic, sack them.
Yeah.
no issue. But it is about doing something that resonates, and that's the important thing.
And just being authentic to your customers, because people, you know yourself, you see through something that's artificial or superficial. So,
good.
Yeah. So,
all right, great stuff.
Excellent, good talking.
Well, that's all from us for now. I'm Nigel Main, and I was talking with our Director of Events and my wife Liz Main. So if you'd like any further information on our strategies and the things that we have to offer, you can download them from our website at salesexchange.co.uk, or if you'd like to have a chat about your business marketing, you can email me or Liz. I'm at nigel@salesexchange.co.uk, or you can email Liz at liz@salesexchange.co.uk, or conversely you can contact us by telephone on 0800 970 9751. That's 0800 970 9751. Bye for now.